Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, on this happy, very summery Saturday in the Pacific Northwest. Very summery, gorgeous. So, a profoundly stressful noticing that so many of us have experienced who've had compulsion troubles, food and eating or otherwise, all the extra additional compulsions that seem to appear in life, spending, obsessing, texting, interneting, smoking, drinking, drugs, etc. We're just looking at that compulsive urge. There is a sense of judgment that can come in about the moment experienced between you and this substance or item, in this case, food. In this case, food. So just noticing how the mind has categorized food between the good food and the bad food. It might even be able to, it's so amazing how clearly categorized it is that you could make a list immediately. If any food was brought to mind, you could put it on the good list or the bad list. And there may be a few neutral things, but only a few. So just very interesting curiosity to see how your mind has delineated all foods into the good categories and bad categories. There's a right food to eat and a wrong food to healthy foods to eat and unhealthy foods to eat, good foods to eat and bad foods to eat. And there you are in the presence of food and noticing that mind come in like the Terminator with its little, you know, analysis programming to see, I know what that food is, and it falls in the bad or good category. Now, so many of us that have had trouble with food and eating and tried to control it, used force and willpower and just noticed thoughts of violence appear against ourselves about this whole eating thing, then you see that when there's food that is bad food and we're hungry or even we're not hungry, it doesn't matter the situation really, there's the energy between you and this food is one of an enemy, push pull. You may even like it and hate it at the same time. Just simply notice the stressful beliefs that rise up and fall between you and this food in an instant. Someone has set the thing before you, or you ordered something and here it comes, or you want it, but you feel guilty. Like, you shouldn't eat it, so you're going to sneak it anyway. Just notice what that's like. It doesn't feel like freedom. There's there's a lot of discord right there between you and this food, this item of food. There's that food, and notice what the thoughts are. Often they're very repetitive, but very critical, very negative. I will get fat if I eat this. This will cause me to gain weight. If I eat it, it means I'm a failure. It means there's something wrong with me. If I start eating it, I'll eat the whole entire thing. I'll eat 5 of those things. I won't be able to stop because it tastes so good. Just notice what it's like with this frenemy called food. You know, here's this here's this substance that we're calling food in the world, and I'm labeling it. I've labeled it before it ever even showed up. Somewhere along the way, I learned and I decided that food is bad. That drink is bad. That substance is bad. That's wrong. Evil. Watching those thoughts that appear. If I eat this, I'm a bad person. If there's the bad food there, then if I eat this, I'm a bad person. People have the exact same thoughts about other things that feel with very mixed integrity. If I'm, to move towards that person like an affair, Can you imagine, the affair situation? Some of you have experienced that. I'm in a love relationship that I've promised to be committed and monogamous in, and I'm interested in another person, and I feel a deep push pull, and there's kind of an enemy forecast or forbearing around this whole thing because something's out of integrity. Notice the beliefs that rise here towards the self. If this food is bad and I want it, therefore I am bad. I am not good enough. I am a horrible person. A lot of focus on the self, whatever the self is, being horrible. And just noticing that energy. So I'm either going to fight it, fight that energy and defy it. I'm going to eat it anyway. Or flight. I'm going to panic and get out of here, or panic eating, panic hiding, shame, guilt, or I'm just going to be frozen and kind of suppress, repress, like shut it down. Hardly ever, when we're in this frame of mind, I remember being here so strongly, the compulsive movement, addicted to the stories. I mean, just letting, here they come, here they come. Hardly ever is there a compassionate voice that comes in to say, what's going on for you right now? Can I help? Are you okay? How are you feeling? What's happening? Something that feels more settled down. It's very foreboding and creepy, and the Jaws music starts playing in the background like it's a horror movie or something. What happens when you believe this is your enemy? Frenemy. It's going to stab you in the back. It's going to make you fat, but you still like it. It's pulling you in like a magnet. Very painful. Who would you be without your story? And this is specifically to look at the thoughts that all have blossomed right in the moment. Like, this is dangerous to be in the presence of this food. Who would you be without that story? This will make me fat. That's the wrong kind of food. That food's going to give me cancer. And I'm not saying, fantastic, let's eat everything. And I'm not saying not to either. Because sometimes we just know following the simple directions, what feels right, what's there. Who would I be, though, without the story? There's something wrong with me for even wanting it. Who would you be without the story? It means I'm bad. I'm not good enough. There's something off about me. Here I am in the presence of this. I'm not peaceful. I'm not at rest. Who would I be without my story? I'm not safe when it comes to food. So many people that I've spoken with, and I remember so strongly myself. I'm still noticing all the different varieties and colors and styles and menus and spices and everything in the world about food and eating, and how there'll be this categorizing that happens so quickly. Of course, I notice it, but just being in tune and in touch with the body without the belief there's a right or wrong here, there's a good or bad. Without the belief, I just, as if I'm here for the very first day on planet Earth, being presented with this food that I never saw before in my life. I don't have prejudice about it. Who would I be? I might just notice an eagerness and an interest in tasting it. It's okay also to know I have learned that this body gets very ill on this particular substance. That's okay to take into account. I've learned that the stove is hot, so I'm not going to touch it. Who would I be without that story? There's something dangerous here, and I need to watch out. Just noticing the energy of that as you sit for a meal, as you sit to share food with people, as maybe somebody serves you something, as you go to get food because it's time to eat, you're hungry. Who Who would I be without my story? This food is an enemy. Turn the thought around. This food is a friend. Could I just notice how that could be as true or truer? Friendly, friendly world that has food in it in this situation. Friendly with my body, a friendly feeling, peaceful, slow down, no scarcity right around the bend, no need to make sure that I don't eat. Being in touch with the body, bringing the body along for this journey, letting it all be there, noticing feelings, really uncomfortable feelings. Sometimes those feelings are the thing that are sparking interest in food, and food is soothing. It can be very soothing. Food is a friend. And my thinking has been an enemy in the presence of this thing called food. Can I make peace with this thing called food? All those kinds of foods. The foods that I think are in the bad category, and the foods that I think are in the good category. Often we felt like enemy territory with both of them. I don't like it because I should be eating the good list, and I shouldn't be eating the bad list. Only my thinking, my thoughts, my thoughts are having a enemy heyday. My thoughts are at war with this food. My thoughts are full of fight, flight, or freeze. My thoughts are unsafe in this moment about the food. Power of the mind, amazing. Give my thoughts as I actually, consume something. If I'm believing this is so bad for me, I'm such a horrible person, I'm so guilty to be eating this. Could my thoughts contribute to that experience and the feeling of the food making me sick? You know, so just seeing, could I bring some compassion and loving kindness to this moment as I eat and actually taste it? When I felt so panicked about food and eating, and like those terrible foods, like evil foods that you're never supposed to eat, you should sneak it like you're only good people. Good people don't eat those kind of foods. When I had that sort of framework, and that's the final story, and there's no exceptions, and that was how I was holding it all. Oh, I would just be sneaking and mortified to think of anybody seeing me, pull down the shades, hide inside. Don't want anyone to ever see me eating this food. I might go to a store and only buy a little bit there just because even the stranger who's at the checkout counter, I don't want them to have the same kind of horrible thoughts that I have about myself in the presence of this food. So who would I be without the story of horror, danger, lack of safety? Safety, safety, no danger. Everything's okay. Peaceful. Nothing to worry about here. No need to worry. No need to make sure I hold on to something like thinness or health, whatever it is. Enjoying the experience of having a body that it appears gets to eat on planet Earth. Just bring a little bit of that in, even a drop of compassion as you sit with food, even your thoughts about food. Could they just be friendlier? Am I willing to ask the question, are my beliefs actually true? Who would I be if they weren't? That food makes me fat. Food's an enemy. Food is not my friend at all. Food is out to get me. Who would I be without that dangerous story? Could be very exciting. Could be a whole new world where you don't have to be careful anymore. right. Let me know how it goes. Lots of love.